windows on the roof, there's little animals, so it shows you what's inside. And we're just coming up to the wonderful main entrance. It's like a palace to natural history, basically. Because the Victorians like to make their civic buildings look like palaces and castles and cathedrals. And I think that's gorgeous. That's my favourite of the three buildings. Behind it is the Science Museum. And if you look, when we get to the next street, if you look down the street to the left and then back this way, you see the entrance to the Science Museum. Amazing science galleries, and every branch of science represented. My favourite one is the Apollo 10 landing capsule. I just think that's amazing to see that, having come down from space with all those astronauts with it. So there we go, it's just behind on the left. And this lovely building on your left now is the Victoria and Albert. This is our National Museum of Style and Design, and it's just beautiful. Inside there are whole rooms with historic houses that have been demolished. There's some passages through of all sorts of adornment and furniture. What am I talking about? Furniture. Huge carpets, like figures of handwaves and like carpet as well. It's absolutely beautiful, and it's quite peaceful, that one. The other two are often full of children having a lot of fun in the exhibits. That one tends to be a bit more sedate, so you can go and sort of compete with the children to see the dinosaurs and then go in there and have a nice cup of tea and calm down, because you need a bit of a sit down after all that. But it's great fun. And those are the three museums in South Kensington. On your left now, this is a church, and inside is a Protestant oratory, a Catholic church, but inside the front door that we're just passing on your left, is actually a statue of the Virgin Mary with the dead Christ, and behind it there's a little hole. And it was one of the places where Russian spies used to drop their secrets during the Cold War. The spy would go in, kneel down, cross himself, pretend to pray, and drop something in that. But the head on the right is Harrods, and quite a lot often groups want to go to Harrods, and sometimes we're all a bit bemused that so many people want to go there, because most things in there are so expensive you can't buy them anyway, but it's the glory of the Egyptian. There's so many really interesting stories associated with Harrods, actually. My favourite is the story of Christian the Lion. Now, some of you might have seen some of this on YouTube. In the 70s, you were able to buy wild animals in Harrods. You can't anymore, it's obviously against the law, but in the 70s you could. So funny, you look like just bounding along in slow motion and stuff, but it still pulls at the tear ducts, it still works. Another animal that was bought, wild animal that was purchased in Harrods in 1967, a guy called Prince Zon. To put things in context. Now, we're very old. There will be a giant party. Revolution, and London mushroomed out like a crazy thing. People flooding into the countryside to work in the factories, the warehouses, to get jobs. That would be really fun. But you might get quite excited about this. So as we get some traffic lights, we'll go through next time. Look to the left, you'll see the... I can see, it's behind the bus, can you believe it? Behind that red bus on the left, you can still see it. There we go. See the time? And then we've got, the rod underneath the orange one still there we go. Now, ahead on the right is Harvey Nichols. It's another very famous department store. It's where Princess Diana used to like to shop, and they'd open up really early in the morning so she could go there with her friends and not be bothered by the newspapers, because she'd be the only people in the shop basically, and that's that one on your right. On your left-hand side, this hotel is the hotel with all the flags hanging down, a really lovely hotel called the Mandarin Oriental, and it's where Britney Spears used to stay when she came to London. But then poor Britney stopped staying in hotels and started staying in rehab centres, so we didn't see her for a while. Oh, sorry! Oh, that's a little bit mean, but it is kind of funny. So there we go. Now, behind the buildings on the left is Hyde Park. Hyde Park is one of our lovely big central parks in London, and in fact Hyde Park and Kensington Gardens join up to make a park the same size as Central Park in New York, and that's just one of our green spaces in the centre. We're actually the greenest city in Western Europe. We have 43% of our victory, and she's all commemorating the Duke of Wellington's work. So this whole horse, Copenhagen. Copenhagen led him in so many battles. He apparently was a very, very brave horse. It's the only horse ever to have been given a full military funeral when it died. The horse slightly to the right with Wellington on top, and the Wellington Arch to your right hand side. And in the distance on the right, all those trees over there, that's the back garden of Buckingham Palace. We'll talk about the rock memorabilia in the exhibit. So there we go, the rock shop. On your right hand side, Greenhurst. He was the one who lost the English Civil War. He was fighting with Parliament for reasons of religion and politics, isn't it always? And he had his head chopped off at the end of the war, and we had 11 years of a sort of republic called the Commonwealth. We got fed up with that, and we got the son of the executed king to come to the throne as Charles II. Not. The first idea is that in the 1500s, somewhere along this area, there was a shop that sold ruffs, the big white collars. important for Charlotte. And at the back of the palace, they have an orangery, which is a building built in the 18th century for growing citrus fruit, 1509. And St James's Palace doesn't look probably what you imagine the palace would look like. It's a fairly small brick building, and it's got a clock on top. But it is where a lot of the business of the monarchy is conducted from. It's no royals live there anymore, though they did in the past, but now it's just where a lot of the business is worked out. So if you ever get to be the ambassador to this country, you will get accredited to the court of St James. And if you're the ambassador from the USA, you will get one of the best houses in London. The American Ambassador's house is amazing. It's in Regent's Park. It's a huge villa with amazing gardens. So if any of you do actually get to be the ambassador, remember your academy. It's the building with all the flags hanging down outside it on your left. And just before it, there's a beautiful shopping garden. There you go, very exclusive shopping in there. Lovely just to walk through and have a look at the shops, actually, they're beautiful. A bit like Harrods, it's kind of more like window shopping. Are you going? There's a Portland and Mason. There you go. Now we're nearly at Piccadilly Circus now. I was very upset when I was 9 years old and I was brought to London by my dad for the day to see the Christmas lights. He told me we're also going to go to Piccadilly Circus. It's a round-shaped square, there's no jugglers and fire rings and anything like that. But World War, they carried on playing shows for quite a bit, but it also became a headquarters for Army strategic planning because they were safe from the bombs down underneath the ground, 50 feet down. And you'll see that on the right behind Eros in a minute when we eventually go around the court. So your number plates are photographed so they know who has paid and who has paid. Here we go, Eros on the right. Finally you're going round. On your left, Regent Street. Keep looking left and you'll see the signs in front of Soho. So Soho's in behind there. Shaftesbury Avenue is 70th on Shaftesbury Avenue, and then behind the Riches, believe it or not, on your left now is Chinatown. We've got any Harry Potter fans on board? Oh, you can see Harry Potter guide. You do a lot of Harry Potter walks in London. And if you were to go down Shaftesbury Avenue, at the end of Shaftesbury Avenue, you would see that. You know, they actually have a real owl. And during rehearsals, the owl behaved beautifully. All it had to do was fly on stage, drop a letter and leave. But it did it every single time. But on the opening night, a friend of mine was in the audience on the opening night, and the owl got really interested in all the people who hadn't been there before, and it just flew out over the auditorium. I expect this side of the square used to be a road, and they've closed it off as a road, and they've got an open air cafe on the square. And you don't really want... Anyone see any hawks flying? Oh, the vans there that they normally come, so they might be there. And the strange statue on your left is a skeletal horse with a sort of ribbon around its leg. The number pick the ones where people are saying something about the world. But whether or not you agree about that is a good thing to have a conversation about, you know. Very good living during the 11 years of our republic called the Commonwealth, making medals of Oliver Cromwell's head. Oliver Cromwell was the head of state stuff. That's one of the great places to hang out. And then the other place that I think is amazing to go and hang out is the south bank of the river, to the sort of furthest from London Eye, when you get the Royal Festival Hall and National Theatre and things. Now that's Saxon for Old Town, and we think that was the heart of Saxon London. So remember when the Roman soldiers went home in the year 410, we were married. So Henry eventually, after a lot of scheming and plotting, the idea of horses, there we go. For the rest of her life, she called her my beloved sister, and she lived in and around the court. And it must have been really quite a strange and scary place for her to be. 4 down, 2 to go. Number 5. Henry by this time is 48 years old. He has gout. He has an open wound on one leg that will not heal. He is a very, very large man because his daily calorie intake on a non-feast day is around about 8,000 calories a day. He's dying bravely, and that's just so touching. But anyway, that was 5 story because When Henry first broke off relations with the Roman Catholic Church, every daughter was a first child. There we go. Catholic's okay in Parliament Square. We'll do a little drive around. If not, I'll just let you get off. I'll tell you all about it and let you get off and see it on foot. As you can see, even if you just stand still in part of it.